Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, I've got a little bit of Alien Isolation gameplay running in the background, and I thought I would do a little commentary over said gameplay and talk about a sequel and ultimately why there should be a sequel, although that really isn't going to make sense here in like the next 2 seconds. If you have played Alien Isolation, if you have seen the Alien movies, you really don't need a list of why there should be a sequel to this game. Alien Isolation took a formula that was really brought forth by Amnesia the Dark Descent, where you go through a story, but there's monsters that chase you. And they took that idea and gave it to a well known monster within Hollywood and, well, I guess really the world. And they gave it an AI that learns over time so that really every playthrough is technically different because the alien doesn't always do the same things. And it has created a game, along with the atmosphere, the lighting, the sounds, and everything like that. It has created a game that, in my mind, is absolutely stunning. It is, by all definition, absolutely perfect. Now, sure, bugs here and there, a couple of things that are a little wonky here and there with maybe animations or whatever, but those could be rectified in the future through a sequel. And I almost feel like it's a criminal thing to not make a sequel for this game. And a lot of people will bring up the mobile game that I think is somewhat considered a sequel. I I look at that and all I can think of is the whole Diablo thing that happened where people were expecting a Diablo 4 announcement, and what they got was, hey, here's a shitty mobile game that you'll play for 5 minutes while you're taking a shit, you know? And people don't want that. People don't want mobile games. And the only reason why companies that, well, really, the only reason why people make mobile games, like AAA companies make mobile games, is because there is a market for those games overseas in like China, Japan, and places like that, where they spend thousands, if not millions of dollars on games that are on mobile devices. Whereas in America here, we really just don't give a shit. We want console games, we want PC games that really break the boundaries of what we know to be possible, I guess you could say. I mean, imagine, okay, PS5, Xbox One, Series X, or whatever it's called. The names with Xbox are getting confusing. I think Xbox 360, easy to remember. Should have been Xbox 720. Instead, we got the Xbox One, whatever it was, and then some other thing and some other thing and so on and so forth. Point being, well, really none of that matters, but the point being is that console naming for Xbox or Microsoft is just crazy. Uh, but with current technology, could you imagine Alien Isolation 2? And maybe that's what they're waiting for. I think that maybe there was some talks about an Alien Isolation 2 at some point, and maybe looking at, well, we already have a game on the PS4 and the Xbox One, so maybe we should wait until technology is a little bit better so that we can make a game that really looks stunning. And with next gen consoles, I think that, I mean, could you imagine Alien Isolation on next gen consoles, but upscaled? I think they could probably make it backwards compatible, but you really, in my personal opinion, you really won't get the effect of the whole game to its fullness if you don't have it upscaled for, of course, next-gen consoles. So, I don't know. I mean, it's... The more I think about it, the more I want a sequel. And then, of course, I come to the realization that recently Disney bought Fox, or they acquired Fox, which is a major red flag in my personal opinion. Now, maybe I'm understanding that whole situation wrong, but the way I look at it is everything that Disney buys or touches, they ruin, and Star Wars is a perfect example of that. So could you imagine a Disney-fied Alien? Let's be real here. I don't think that under Disney we will get any more Alien movies, not as we know them. They probably won't be rated R. They probably won't be as scary. We probably won't get any games. And with those simple facts known, I almost don't want a sequel. You know? It's one of those situations where when you know you have something good, just stick with it. And this is something that a lot of AAA developers do. They'll kind of make a game, not expect it to be that big of a hit, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's a huge hit. Dead Space is a perfect example, and Nazi Zombies from Call of Duty, which is sort of a side mode, but of course the play out is very similar. And what ends up happening is they make a sequel, which is well received, people love it, it's awesome, you know, what is the third game going to do? And then of course, by the time they get to the third game, they completely change what the first two games were all about, because, oh, well, we want it to be co-op, oh, we want it to be a little bit more accessible to everybody, and we want it to be this, we want it to be that, and they completely change the whole point of the first two games, or the first two installations, just to appeal to a bigger audience. And that is, you know, basically where Suits, you can tell that they got in charge. It was no longer the grunts making decisions or having their suggestions pushed through. It was, hey, we want this to make money, we want to make as much money as possible, we don't really want you to make a super good game because reasons, we just want you to create a game, put it out there, the hype alone will sell it very well, we don't care about the PR that happens after the fact because reasons, you know, and I kind of feel like more and more companies are doing that, and it's one of those things, like I said, where because of Disney, because of everything that's going on in the world, politically, or maybe not really politically, just people's mindsets and their ideals and their morals, or lack thereof, let's be honest, it's almost like if there was a sequel, it just would never live up to the first game. And that's a scary thought. Especially because this game most definitely deserves a sequel. And like I said earlier, it's criminal that it hasn't had a sequel yet. I'm of the mind that this game should have had a third installation already. That's just my 2 cents. So, anyways, with that being said, I really don't have anything else to say. It's just, it's a very, very well done game. It is absolutely perfect. It deserves a sequel. It deserves more love. It deserves a whole hell of a lot more than what it has currently. And I just hope that if things move forward in the future in regards to a sequel, that they do it right, that they listen to basically the people that made the first game. I hope that they really try to follow in the footsteps, if you will, of the movies and this game, and try to make it as close to the movies as possible. Of course, I don't know how good a Alien Isolation 2 would be if it was like Aliens, where there were like, 200 aliens or whatever, and they could die from gunshots. I imagine that people would not really find that very good to play, but I look at it as, okay, what if you were given a pulse rifle? What if you were given military weapons, and instead of one alien hunting you at a time, you had 30 or 40? So yeah, you might be in a tunnel, you might be in a hallway with a pulse rifle, and you can dispatch an alien in 2 seconds. But what happens if there's like 40 of them? And they're coming from behind, they're coming from the front, left, right, up, down, they're crawling on the ceilings. I mean, that's a scary thought, and if they could pull off something like that, there would still be that element of you needing to sneak around, but if you ever came face to face with one, you could blow it away, but it would attract many, many more, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. So it's almost like a very, very bad trade-off, and you would get into a firefight that you would have to survive. And that's kind of cool thought, but again, I think it would take away from the original game's concept. So I don't know, it's one of those really weird things. I don't know, maybe they could have a mode where you don't have any guns and it is just one alien. I think that would be something that is somewhat easy to implement. Who knows? Anyways, that is it for this video, and I will talk to you guys later.